this.
Okay.
But there's a rumor that there's this intimidating toothbrush that's been terrorizing people. And so,
Listen, Linda.
Have you been ran out of your
honey,
home?
listen.
Have you been ran out of your home because of an electric toothbrush or something?
I really did think I was praying over my family. I was praying that we would not have a bomb go off in our home. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
No.
I don't even know.
Do you want me to tell you guys what happened?
I'm afraid to
Okay.
hear this.
I'm afraid.
So it was a Monday morning a week ago, and I sleep really hard on Sunday nights because Sunday's a really, really big day for ministry, for worship leading and stuff. And so like I was out and I was awoken from a dead sleep by a terrible noise. And it sounded
Sounds like a Christmas story.
That's what I was thinking.
And what was a clatter?
Listen, it sounded like someone was sawing through my wall and there was water, like a waterfall. And I called Justin, I put it on speakerphone and I said, babe, this is not good. Like something really, really bad has happened. He's like, I'm just now pulling into the plant. And I'm like, it's really bad. And he goes, okay, I'm pulling away from the plant. and he came home and for 25 minutes, that's how long it takes him. I prayed and I called him again. I said, do I need to take the kids for safety? I got the dogs out of our room because I thought that my room was going to blow up and we were all going to die. I was really, really scared. And he came home and
And what was it, Lindsay? What was it?
he opens the shower door and he said, babe, looks like my toothbrush fell off the ledge and somehow got turned on. Turned the toothbrush off. And we were saved. My hero.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm a little bit shocked. So can I speak on behalf of the audience?
Please.
Here's what everybody, y'all feel free to chime in and tell everybody that you're agreeing with me here.
Yes.
So I learned a lot about you already. So here's the question.
Okay.
You know, there are on this planet, when something happens, there are a million possibilities.
Yes.
You went straight to the house is going to blow up.
I went straight to the Lord in prayer.
Well, that was
for my house.
After your house is going to blow up. I mean, why couldn't it have been that there is a mole who is bore into your house?
Listen, when I was like in
How about,
when I was in
tiny
middle
little-
school, our water
It was
heater
an Al Qaeda
exploded.
mole. It was
okay?
going to blow up, okay?
Our water heater exploded when I was in middle school.
Well,
in the
that's-
bathroom right next to my...
Not only do I get a lot out of your sense of humor and just the way, just how kind and open you are, but also just the way you get into things is, for someone like me, it's great to be around because it's shown me a brand new way to be able to live. So I can't possibly say enough good things about you except that I love you.
Terry, you have made a huge impact in my life. I'm so grateful that God has brought you into my life. As much as you have poured out, I still feel like you are this pool of wisdom that we've yet only had sips of.
The big overarching takeaway for me that I appreciate is you're the real deal, right? You're the genuine article, and you live what you talk about. You don't just say you can do this, you can do that. You actually run and operate and live in that lifestyle business, not just talk about it as a theory.
I'll speak for me for a moment. In my life, oftentimes, I go in and I push that button, and I push it gingerly in the hopes that I can get one of the rings to go up and hit the hook. And whenever it's your turn to talk, you kind of say, Case, move over for a second and take that button and jam it and hit it 19 times to get every ring flying in the air. And that's kind of the feeling that I have whenever you talk. It's like, wait a minute, let's shake this up a little bit. Let's shake the snow globe and see what happens. Like right now, Terry, I am so inspired after listening to you for the last 25, 30 minutes to go back and do about 400 things, of which I might have done one prior to you talking, but you got me so jazzed up to go in there and accomplish something because, often we need people like that, with agitators, somebody to come in and agitate things and say, hey, look, you can do a lot more than you're doing. Look at me. And Terry, I've always liked looking at you, and I'm hopeful that I can be more like you going forward, so thank you for everything.
I'm still blown away by your story. It's incredible. And so it's just so inspiring. And so, I mean, I feel like you embody that. Like when I think about you, it's hard to separate you from that incredible story that you have. And so it's such a gift to us to get to just be in the presence of someone who has that story and who has come as far as you have. And with that, the second word was experience, because with that, you just bring so much experience. There's so much value in what you say. Amazing coach. So like just vast experience. I feel like you're able to speak into so many of our lives in so many different situations. And it's always like on point and helpful and thoughtful. And then the third was humble, because I feel like you do all of that with so much humility. Like you don't, I feel like you don't pat yourself on the back a lot, or, say, oh, I'm this great person. It's kind of hidden behind this, oh, I've just got a little comment here for you, filled with all of this value.
When I think of Terry Wilson, I think about the comeback kid. Your original story of how you built the piano business and how the market of 2007, 2008, that crash, and how you came back and you built something that is what it is today. And yet here you are.
Hey, Terry. Well, I think today has just demoed exactly the brilliance that you share. The humor, it's guaranteed that every time that Terry's got the mic, there's going to be laughter amongst the group. And I'll extend that into honoring your skills as an interviewer and as a podcast, because I had jumped on a few months ago because I hadn't listened to your podcast, and content can draw us in, but the people who lead the conversation and the skill behind that, I was pleasantly surprised and impressed, and I've kept you in my circle because of that. So I think the lens in which you see the world is so amazingly beautiful. I love that you're real. You talk sports, you talk music, you talk the things that come to our heartbeat of being a part of this country. And it draws people in, and I'm one of those individuals. And I also think you're genuinely gentle, sincere, and you're like, a cousin or an uncle that, I just want to hang out with more and more each time. So, you light us up, and that's not something easy to do week in and week out, in just the waves of our own lengths and the commitments that we have in our circles. So I am grateful for all that you bring to us and all that you've shared with us, and definitely the laughter as well. So
what's up, Fire Nation? Another bonus episode coming your way. This one was a great chat. I had a lot of fun with Terry Wilson. Terry is a serial entrepreneur who offers entrepreneurs and solopreneurs the tools, training, and technology needed to earn and enjoy more. For the past 13 years, he's helped thousands of hungry individuals discover their thing, develop the skills to do it, and be given a strategy to deliver it to market and produce value. Terry has a weekly podcast that can be heard on iTunes, Stitcher, and at terrywilson3.com. He also wrote a book called You Are Worth More, which you can check out at youareworthmorebook.com. We have a lot of fun in this episode, Fire Nation. I truly hope you enjoy. It's hard. It is hard work to achieve uncommon success. But you know what else is hard, Terry? Being broke.
You better believe that.
Living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to support your loved ones, not being able to support yourself, not being able to get up in the morning and do something that you want to do, but doing something you have to do. That's hard too. So Terry, my call to action for everybody here is choose your hard. Like back in 2012, it was hard. I spent 32 years of my life doing hard work and making the wrong decision on choosing my hard. I was going down the wrong path. I wasn't having any success. But then I flipped it. I said, you know what? Building this business, Entrepreneurs on Fire, it's going to be hard work. But the alternative is hard too. So I choose the hard of building a life of freedom, of building a life of choice, of building a life of uncommon success. And that's my call to action to everybody hearing our voices today. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard. Boy, I love that. Because there's a high cost of low living. And sometimes we think that, we're just going to get out of this easy by taking the path of least resistance. And boy, sometimes the end of that path is just a tiger. I'm telling you, brother,
Identify your big idea. Not be a weak, pale imitation of somebody else's big idea, which most people do. They're like, oh, look at what Terry's doing. He's so successful. Look what John's doing. I'll just copy them. And then you wonder why you fail, because you're a weak, pale imitation of those people, and you will never win as a result. You need to come up with your big idea, your zone of fire and wake up every day on fire, living that life. That is the life that you deserve. Because what at the end of the day do we really want? Freedom. The ability to wake up and do what we want, where we want to do it, with whom we want to do it with. If you have those three things, what more is there in life? And you can give yourself that gift. Just take it.
Which is identifying, why are you here? You know, I like to say it this way. You're not a cosmic accident. You didn't show up on planet Earth because lightning struck a mud puddle billions of years later and you crawled out. You're a significant person with a significant reason for being here. There's a reason for you to be here. And once you identify that big idea, as John just said it, life becomes, oh my gosh, becomes unimaginable. Give us go ahead.
Just on that point real quick. I mean, I think it's so key for people to understand this, like what Terry is just sharing. There is so much wisdom out there in this world, but there's also so much noise and it's chaotic. And sometimes it's so hard to really cut through all of this and to really get to the meat and potatoes, to really get down to what matters.
Does anyone know Terry's story, what Terry did?
I do.
So Terry sold musical instruments, sold pianos, right? And what was it? Was it 9/11 that created the problem?
Yeah.
9/11 creates a problem. Nobody wants to go. There's no money in town anymore. It's a brick and mortar store. Some woman comes up to him in church, some older woman, and she's like, I was thinking about your problem, and the Lord told me you should sell them on the computer. Sell your pianos on the computer. And Terry's like, that's a great idea. I got to get out of here because you're crazy. So, of course, he does it in that sweet way where he says, oh, bless your heart. And
bless your heart.
He thinks about it. And then he's like, you know, he told me about the story about, you know, the guy, it's a flood and, you know, you should get out. No, the Lord's going to save me. And at the end, he goes to God and says, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. You know, I tried. I sent you the news report. I sent you a helicopter. You know. So Terry takes that and he's like, God's telling me what to do here, right? So I should do. That was the message. I should sell these things online. His first thought when the woman tells him that is, how am I gonna, because she said her grandson sold CDs.
On eBay.
Yeah, Terry's like, how am I, you could just I can't put a stamp on a piano. This is crazy.
Drop it in the mailbox.
Yeah, so next day, right? The next day he starts sells them out in a week. So he doesn't think about, he doesn't latch on to his idea of I can't ship these things cheaply, right? He just goes past that. He goes, well, what's my first solution? My first solution is I got to sell these things. That's all he's thinking about. He sells out his whole inventory in a week. Then the problem comes to him. How do I get rid of these things? I've now sold them. How do I deliver them? So what would you guys have done?
Hire a U-Haul and drive them out there.
Yeah, that's what Terry did. Terry got a truck and just was like, well, I'm gonna take my brother-in-law. We're gonna go around the country. We're going everywhere. And he delivered pianos for 2 weeks. That's amazing. And then, you know, and then he's like, oh, and the next thing is I talk to someone and as he goes and he talks to the manufacturer and he's like, so, you know, where are these things? You know, if I want to get them, how do I sell them? And he doesn't go into the conversation with the idea of, I'm going to figure out how to make this more efficient for myself. Or maybe he does to a degree, but he doesn't make that his outward appearance. He's not desperate. He's desperate, but he doesn't portray desperation. He portrays, as he's talking to the person, he's asking them questions about their business, and they give him the keys to the kingdom. They tell him the whole layout. They tell him exactly how to run his business. Now, in Watergate, did you ever hear, like in the first week after Watergate, Woodward and Bernstein spoke to a Spanish guy down in Mexico, and the joke was, he told us exactly what happened, but we don't speak Spanish, so we lost the story. It turns out that was true. They got the whole thing in the first week, but didn't understand it. Terry got the whole thing in the first week and put it together. He hears, you have warehouses all over the country, so why don't I sell them and then you guys will just deliver them locally? He gets that in an instant. He doesn't think about the problem. He doesn't think they're not gonna do it, any of this stuff. When I hear about Terry selling them and he just gets in a truck, my first thought with that is, I know.
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com.
Over one decade of helping others
Discover, develop, and monetize your skills and talents at TerryWilson3.com.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really, I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started.
You're the real deal, right? You're the genuine article.
Right now, Terry, I'm so inspired after listening to you for the last 25, 30 minutes to go back and do about 400 things. You got me so jazzed up.
I'm still blown away by your story.
When I think of Terry Wilson, I think about the comeback kid.
You're like a cousin or an uncle that I just want to hang out with.
Terry, you have made a huge impact in my life.
Can't possibly say enough good things about you except that I love you.
Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
Thank you, Christopher B. This is Terry Wilson, and you are listening to TerryWilson3.com. Welcome to episode 473. Boys, tonight, you know what we're talking about?
Give me a second. Digital marketing.
Now, you can't look at the notes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Digital marketing.
Digital marketing.
I just had a feeling.
You must be a soothsayer.
Yeah, I am.
You're reading the tea leaves over there. No, we're talking about digital marketing, of course, and we got an expert, Linda the Legend, out there on the left coast is joining us. Linda, how are you doing?
Actually, afternoon from Monday afternoon, Terry. How you doing? Thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
Well, it's good to have you, and I'm sorry for all the audio trouble up front there, but we got it reeled in, and then we're ready to rock and roll, so it's good to have you on tonight. I know you've been busy today helping your agents and your agency and all of that, so I know it takes time to do this, and I do appreciate your time.
Well, it's always a pleasure.
So, guys, I tell you, I was reading reports, where they're saying, I think it's over for, don't let me, I could have, and Linda, correct me if I got the numbers wrong, but it's like 40,000 people that have already reported they will not be returning back to the office. They're not going back they want to work, but they're going to work from home. And I was listening to Ray Edwards' podcast this morning while I was on the treadmill down there in Greenville, which that's a whole nother story. I went to a different gym this morning, and he's talking about, all of these sociologists and people that study society and economics, economists and all this. They were talking about what 2020 did was basically move us ahead about 10 years as to where we were already going on a trajectory as far as types of work and jobs. I mean, we were already on this path of, working from home digitally and doing all this, but 2020 basically put gasoline on that. And we're here now. And so I think what Linda's going to be sharing tonight and what we're talking about in marketing and especially using digital tools, it is apropos for this time because Ray's words of caution was this: you either need to get into the digital economy now or you're going to forever be left behind. And one of the things, and here's another, I'm just going through my whole podcast listening while I was on the treadmill today. Jordan Peterson was talking about, I didn't realize this, but he was talking about what the number one regret people have when they're coming to that time where they pass. I never thought about this, but he was talking psychologically, the number one regret people have, it's not the mistakes they made. I would think, people look back and say, well, I wished I'd done that better, or I wished I'd done that better.
It's probably like the opportunities they didn't take up.
The opportunities they didn't take is the number one regret. In other words, it's not the sins of commission, but the sins of omission. The things I wished I had done that I didn't do. That's the number one regret. Now that's different for different people, of course. Everybody's but the whole point I'm making is, guys, tonight, you're at the right time in history to get on this platform of digital marketing. And, from just a 40,000 foot view here, you're going to be better off in life saying, I saw opportunity and I took it, because, we've got a lot of tools that have technology has afforded us. So why not go ahead and take advantage of it?
Tonight is episode 473, and we would really appreciate if you would like, subscribe, and share our podcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube by going to terrywilson3.com/YouTube. And if you can subscribe to our iTunes podcast by going to terrywilson3.com/iTunes. When you share the podcast, share it with the hashtag TW3podcast473. We always pick someone out at the end of the podcast and offer a free signed copy of the big book, You Are Worth More.
Easy for you to say.
Hey, not very easy.
In segment 4, we're taking questions. So if you guys want to go ahead and send in your questions, we really appreciate it. We like the questions that you guys send in. Typically, we have members that are on live with us, and they'll answer some of your questions through the chat as well. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and send them there. If you want your questions sort of recorded so we can go through it on our next podcast, you can go to terrywilson3.com/contact and fill out your questions there, which we'll ask.
Linda, can you tell we've been off for a week?
I can't read. I was like, I know what the message is. I'll deliver it in my own way.
Hey guys, I do want to also tell you that the conference is coming up. If you have not got your conference tickets, you got to go over to terrywilson3.com and get them. It's going to be September 7th through the 9th. It's in Greenville, South Carolina. If you're shopping for airline tickets, you want to look for GSP. That's the local airport that all the major airlines fly into. But you can get pretty affordable flights from the West Coast. It's going to run you around $249, from the East Coast around $100, $150, depending on the type of flight and all that. But it's pretty affordable to get in a GSP and all that. The flights, at least that we've seen thus far. So get over there and get to that, because I'm telling you what Linda's going to be sharing tonight about different digital tools, and what I'll be sharing before she comes on about marketing. All of this stuff comes alive when you're sitting down face to face, knee to knee with other people just like you, with the same goals, dreams, ambitions, wanting to take their money, business, and life to new levels. You can sort of see, well, how are you using this? Or how do you use a blog? Or how do you use this voice broadcast dial? Or how are you doing your email sequence and following up? All of that stuff comes to life. Now, Linda, we were talking about, the people not returning to work because they're wanting they've already tasted what it's like to work from home. So a lot of people that have worked in offices don't return. So that's one segment of the space. And then we got this thing going on, guys. You're going to get a kick out of this. So it was a non-life-threatening medical emergency this weekend, but I spent all of Saturday in the emergency rooms with your mother.
Which is always fun.
Which, she had a very painful event. But I was in 3 different emergency rooms. Why? Okay. Well, it wasn't an emergency room, it was urgent care. So the first urgent care we go to, we book online, go over there, wait in the parking lot till they call you in, never call in, wait 45 minutes past when we're supposed to be in, walk in to make sure everything's okay. Oh, you're going to have to sign in again. Well, we signed in online and we're supposed to be, that person that does that quit. Well, what do we need to do? Fill out. And she said, I don't know, because I'm leaving too. And then we fill that out.
Leaving as in quit?
That lady quits. So that's 2 people that quit.
She's quitting.
And then the office administrator comes out and says, we have to announce, guys, we're sorry, but the doctor that was supposed to hear called in, said he's not coming. He's quit. We don't have a doctor here right now. The nurse that is here is leaving too. So they had 4 people.
Not on the podcast, but afterwards. Tell me which one that was.
I was
very curious.
Well, here, okay. You think, we go to a different place, or another urgent care. We get there, okay. They get her in, get her checked in, up on the gurney, doing blood work. Well, we need to do a CAT scan because, just to alleviate what this might be. And the problem is the person that is the tech that runs this quit yesterday. So we don't have anyone. So that's the second. And here we are in Boiling Springs. So we drive 45 minutes to Greenville to get into a place down there. And finally, the one urgent care has the blood work and did and then the other one is just doing the CAT scan and they're coordinating. We spent all day,
that's crazy
over something. And it's just crazy.
Like, I'm used to going to, a McDonald's or something. Like, we're short staffed. It's like, that's kind of common. But these are like college educated, went to school for these jobs.
Top tier jobs that people are just sort of walking out on. So You know, it's a situation that we got to be careful of when we're out there in the recruiting space and in the opportunity space. Got to sort of understand the zeitgeist that's going on in the areas that we serve and the communities we serve. And this is why I tell, you know, as I'm consulting with business owners and stuff, now's not the time to be a jerk to your people. You know, if you run a small business, if you own a business, now is the time to let people know that you really appreciate what they do.
I would add on to this that if you have a poor attitude as a business owner, you spend years and years treating people a certain way, very poorly, but the market's changed.
You better change with it and learn.
Well, unfortunately, in my experience, 6 months of, you know, some fake niceties aren't going to do you much good, because people that have worked there a long time and now have options, attitude changes real quick. It's like, while I appreciate that you've been nice to me this last 2 weeks, I don't forget what's happened over the last 6 years.
Well, it's always a good time to treat people well.
Yep.
But it's just, if you want to just get down to, that's an ethical statement. A practical statement that I want to make is, now is the time you better learn how to treat people well. Because you could, Linda, what are you guys experiencing out there on your side of the country? That's our experiences here.
Well, it's about the same, Terry. A lot of the restaurants, even though they can be open now, they're still on very limited hours because they can't find help. They can't find, they can't find enough people. They can't find wait staff. They can't find bartenders. They can't find cooks. My husband used to be a cook. He's had 4 calls in the last 2 weeks from local restaurants saying, would you at least work for us part-time? And he's not interested, but the thing of it is, people have decided that they do not want to go back to an office or a service industry position. And it's really funny because right before COVID happened, I think it might have been one of the very first podcasts that I did in 2020. The podcast that I did was on working from home. And I think I should go back and put that one up, have it repeat again, because some of the information in there is really apropos to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
People have decided that they really like working from home. They're tired of the commute. They're tired of, co-workers at the office interrupting their day, which then makes their day that much longer because there's a certain amount of work to be done. They can get it done faster at home. Yeah. I just talked to my son-in-law at length over the weekend, and he's a very high up person at Ball Technology, and Ball Technology does the software for like the shuttle launches and things like that. And he's been back for those launches several times. He has a very high top secret clearance, and everyone at Ball has been working from home for the last year, and now they're encouraging them to go back to the office. And he said that very same thing. He said, I don't want to go back to the office. He said, I get more done from my home office. He said, I didn't like it at first. He said, the first couple of months, he said, I was really unhappy. I didn't like working from home. He said, but now that I'm into the flow of things and I'm accustomed to it, I don't want to go back to the office.
Yeah, it's such an inefficient business model for me. I mean, I know, and I'm not tooting my own horn or trying to be braggadocious here, and I'm not. But one of the things I get a lot is people saying, I don't see how you get as much done as you get done and have the free time you get. And my answer to that is, it's very efficient. My lifestyle, working from home, to me is so efficient. Mm. It's just like today, I had to bump an hour back, and Miss Linda was very gracious enough to work with us on recording this. Why? Because I had to cover for your mom to do something with the children. So I'm down there and I'm playing, having fun, taking her to horse camp and watching her ride horses and stuff. So I got to be Mr. Dad and still come back and have time to do this. and and get probably more done in 2 hours than it would take me 8 hours if I went into an office to do.
Well, I think that's what business owners are realizing too. One of our friends, he works as a recruiter for a construction company, and his job is like a mix between HR and recruiting. So he does like the interview process, and then he also does like the inner turmoil, like between coworkers, I guess.
Yeah, conflict stuff.
And you would think that like, oh, you really need an HR person there to do the conflict stuff, but when everybody's working from home, your focus goes from like, I have to settle minute disputes to I can actually focus on the majority of my job, which is the recruiting process of it. And so they've done the same thing where, they had a deadline where they wanted to be back in the office. They realized how efficient, because there's like 3 people in his department that do what he does, how efficient it was for him to just do it from home. He didn't like it the first month, kind of like Linda was saying. He didn't love it at the first month, but then he learned to like it. And then now they all, of course, are like, why do we pay for an office space? Like, we can still get the same job done if they have meetings or anything.
More done.
Yeah, so it's kind of showing itself to be like an older business model. It's like you said.
It really is.
It's aged.
It's with the technology we have, when we need to come together, we come together via Zoom. It's just like we run the way we ran TW3 for the last 13 years. Yeah. It's funny to watch all these other companies sort of catch up.
And college space is the same way. Online classes have not been like, unheard of course, but like 2020 forced everybody to go online pretty much. And now most of the students that I know, especially the ones that are going to finish their masters and their doctorates or whatever, if they can do it online, they prefer it. I was one of the students that really, really enjoyed going to class because I felt like, I'm not going to hold myself accountable if I'm not have a date that I need to go.
Yeah.
Turns out when you're forced to do online, you kind of learn the routine you set for yourself. There's no reason that you would ever go in class in person. Like, why would you?
And that's one industry, the higher education space, I want to see modernized.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think you could get a better education for less money. Think about this. You got one hotshot professor that's just the be-all, end-all in this subject.
Yeah.
Well, you could pay him an exorbitant amount of money for what he's worth and let him service 5-6 colleges online.
Yeah.
Versus him being locked down to one university here and having to be physical. I mean, it's scalable when you make it digital, but it's not if it's.
And they're being forced to kind of do that. The guy that taught us astrology, he's a professor at Stanford, and that's like his main body of work. Is he writes his papers, he does all his theses, all the students he works with is at Stanford. But they needed an astrology teacher for the online courses, so he was willing to do some part-time stuff for their summer classes.
Right.
And I'm. Like the way I would think of it, it's better for the teachers because it almost makes them contract workers where it's like you can get paid more than whatever this.
Well, now they're free.
Be.
I mean, they can.
Yeah, and if you're a really good professor, you're basically becoming an entrepreneur of teaching, and you can contract yourself out to these different schools.
It interjects the free market business model into. And
shout out to Dr. Wang, great professor.
I hear you. Well, guys, when we get back, we got Linda the Legend queued up. I'm going to be coming in right before her just to give a prelude to her training because I wanted to talk about the distinction between marketing and sales to tee her up so she can go right in to her training here on digital marketing. You're going to want to stay tuned for this one. And when we get back from those 2 trainings, then we've got some questions that we're going to answer already queued up in the queue, and we'll be back right after this.
He could do it. If he could do it.
This isn't a movie.
He believed in himself. And you can too.
Oh man, you're going to put it on me like that?
You can do anything that you want. You can get singing lessons, get a better job, make more money. You could be even like rich. You could live in the White House someday. You could be president.
Me?
Do what you want to do. It's not up to other people.
It's true.
It's up to you.
Chapter 1, the 4 words that changed everything. Another day, another dollar. I just clocked in and was super excited. I finally felt like an adult. For the first time in my life, I was working for someone that wasn't a family member.
I'm Haven, and Terry Wilson's my dad. And the reason why I think I like this is it teaches me not only to like earn money and work when I get older, how to earn it. It also teaches me how my dad used to live in the past, what he did, what was his first job, like the reason why he came into this podcast sphere. So that's why I think I like his podcast and this audiobook.
Get the audio version of You Are Worth More at coachwithtw3.com. That's coachwithtw3.com. Get the first 2 chapters for free.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
Welcome back, everybody. Tonight, we're going to be talking all about marketing. What is it? What are some ways I can be better at my marketing? And how can TW3 help me market better? So in the first training, Terry is talking about the difference between marketing and sales. Be listening for a story about how one incredible salesperson tried to use their sales skills to market and failed on a very large scale. So let's get into the training.
Treat tonight, because I know Linda the Legend is coming up in just a few moments here, and it's going to be giving us lessons on digital marketing, and it's actually a 2-part series. It's that long, so we had to break it up. She's a wonderful marketer. She's a wonderful business person, and we're lucky to have her here at TW3. But before we got into that, I just wanted to lay some groundwork about marketing, because it really doesn't matter about the particular types of tools you're using. Marketing is marketing, and all marketing is to provoke, to compel, to incentivize, to get someone to react, to respond into a place where you can then make a presentation. And so many times over the last 13 years, as I've been working with several different entrepreneurs from all different types of industries and businesses and backgrounds, one thing has become very apparent. And that is, we as salespeople, because I consider myself a salesperson too, we're horrible marketers. And I'll tell you why. We want to sell. That's what we are. We want to get you inspired, informed, educated, and show illustrations of how we can make your life better with our product, good, or service. That's all great. But here's the dirty little secret that we have to really come to grips with. And it's not really a secret. It's just more of a truth that we just got to warm up to. And that is this. Nobody cares. They just don't. You can be as excited as you want to be about anything that you offer, but at the end of the day, most people don't care until you connect why they have got to have it. And they got to have it now, and put them in a situation, in an environment, and in a moment where the proper buying decision can be made. So while that interprets out, and what that means is, so many times we'll sell one of our marketing packages that have all of these suite of marketing tools: a voice broadcast dialer, a bulk texter, a bulk emailer, autoresponders, CRMs, blogs, podcasts, webinar strategies, and all that. And for some, they shoot off like a rocket. And for others, it takes a little bit of time of learning the tech. And for others, the tech's fine and they're okay. But that message, they can't craft the right message to get people to respond. Several years ago, I had an insurance agent out of Atlanta, Georgia, that was in this big group of agents, decided to get involved and buy our marketing system. Now, this person did not come on as an elite member. As a matter of fact, they didn't even come on as a plus member. They just bought our basic package, which is basically gives you the resale rights, and you do have all the tools so you can play with it and know about it for the express purposes of being able to resell it. But you're not educated nor taught any of these higher levels of marketing strategies on how to use it properly. But this person felt like they didn't need to. I mean, hey, I'm a top-notch salesperson. Why do I need to listen to that old boy from South Carolina? So they just bought the system, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you do you. That's what I always tell people. If you can do it and make it happen, go for it. Anyway, this person says, hey, I know what I'm doing, right? And so They literally buy enough data. Now check this out. They buy enough data to dial out 30,000 people, okay? And they have a 1-minute message. Net, what that turns into, they spend roughly around, if my memory serves me correctly, it's been 8 years ago now, but they spent out something around $1,800 on this campaign. $1,800 to dial out 30,000 people with this 1-minute message. Now, what happened? 0 people responded. 0 people opted in, called back, or asked. So the person's response, rather than, hey, I need to challenge my technique here, my technique is in question. No. What did they challenge? The tool must not work. And folks, here's the thing. It's just $1. It's nothing. It's just like if I put a 1-minute advertisement on radio or TV or newspaper, it's the message that moves people. It's not the memes. And so and that's why you've heard me for years say, this isn't a magic pill, thrill, lotion, or potion. This isn't you rub the genie and all of a sudden it rains cash. These are tools, and then you take the training and you sharpen your skills, you learn the techniques, you get good at your craft, and you can make it rain anytime, every day, whenever you want. And so that created a little bit of strain between us and them, because we had to show the dials went out, here's the data, here's what happened, you can see it all, everything worked, all the technology worked, everything that you paid for worked, everything worked except the message. The message didn't move people. And so I ended up, just to try to save a relationship there, I gave them some free coaching, and basically they had to pay for it all over again. But instead of paying for $30,000, let's dial that back to 1,000 people, and let's just test their message. And so I got involved with them. I tried to figure out what kind of insurance it is that they were selling, who would be the most likely, what demographic is the most likely to find value in this. And then we crafted a message that was no longer than 15 seconds. And all of a sudden, they had 130 people off of that 1,000 dial campaign come back. How did I do that? Simply by understanding the difference between marketing and selling. If I think I can just go in and do my best sales pitch and record it on a voice broadcast, or a bulk text, or a bulk email system, or any other mechanism or means or tool that I want to use, and then don't find success, folks, it's not the tool, it's the technique. And that is why I believe strongly you need to be in a group, in a network of marketers that are high achieving, high influential people that are going to places, and that's the value we offer you here at TW3, and hope you'll get involved. Now, let's get over to Linda the Legend, because she's got some great stuff to talk to us today about digital marketing. Take it away, Linda.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm delighted to be here tonight. And Terry, thank you again for having me on the show. What I'm going to talk about is digital marketing, what it is, what it isn't, how to learn it, and most importantly, probably, why you need to learn it. This is part 1 of a 2-part series because it is a huge topic, and I am just barely skimming the highlights. So the next time I'm on the show, I will cover part 2. Before I really get into it here, I'd like to tell those listeners who don't know who I am and what I've done. As Terry already introduced me, I am Linda Wilson Gordon, and I've gone back and forth basically from high tech to financial services for the last 30 plus years, almost 35 years now. I started out in financial services as a financial planner, and I was insurance licensed and securities licensed. Eventually, I left personal production and became a wholesaler. I recruited and trained insurance agents across the country. I grew tired of the constant cross-country travel, and so I took a position based in Seattle, selling medical billing software to doctors' offices. When I left there, I went to work for New Horizons Computer Learning Center, the largest computer learning franchise in the world. And eventually, I migrated back to financial services. I've been with TW3 for a little over 2 years now, and when I first started, I kept my job with the financial services company I was with for about 2 months after starting with TW3. And then just a few months after that, my business partner and I also launched North Star Marketing Group. We coach agents and business consultants across the country on how to assist business owners in becoming more profitable by uncovering underused tax credit strategies. We also teach our consultants how to make the largest life insurance sale of their career using a premium finance strategy. So let's get into it here. Sometimes people feel really overwhelmed when they try to learn digital marketing. So let's break it down. What is digital marketing? How do I use it? And then again, in part 2, I'm going to be talking about where can you learn it and why you need to learn it. Probably everyone remembers the rule of good invitations. What, where, why, when, and how. So to use that format, digital marketing is the what, where, why, when, and how of an invitation to your clients or potential clients to engage with you and your brand, whatever your brand might be. Digital marketing, also called online marketing, connects your brand with those potential customers in a number of different ways. It can be email, it can be text, it can be multimedia messages, but essentially it's a marketing campaign that involves digital communication. And then if it does involve digital communication, it's digital marketing. So that simplifies it for you just a bit, I think. So I'm going to talk about some of the forms of digital marketing and some of the examples of digital marketing. So here are some of the examples of digital marketing. They include SMM, or social media marketing, and that's probably the one that is the most well-known and most used, and I'm going to talk about that quite a bit. Search engine optimization, which isn't technically a form of marketing, but it's a tool that you use in order to make your marketing more effective. So SEO, search engine marketing, SEM, email marketing, I think we're all familiar with that. I don't know about you, but I probably get well over 100 emails every single day. Marketing automation, digital advertising, and content marketing. So let's get into that first one a bit, social media marketing. And I'm talking about this first of all because it is very, very important. I mean, we're probably more familiar with SMM than any other form of digital marketing. Investopedia defines the term social media marketing is the use of social media websites and social networks to market a company's products and services. But this definition is missing something really important. Let's make it more simple and clear. Social media marketing is the process of creating tailored content for each social media platform to drive engagement and promote your business. Social media marketing is all about connecting with your audience or your customers and helping them to understand your brand better. It's incredibly beneficial to your business growth. Just imagine if you're going to meet someone for the very first time with an intention to build a good relationship. What should you do to make that person like you instantly because you're not going to get a second chance. Remember the old adage, you never get a second chance to make a first impression? Well, that applies to social media marketing as well. Will you succeed if you meet that person and say things that are boring or meaningless? How many of you have ever met a person for the first time and within 3 minutes you knew you could spend the rest of your life without them? People tend to like you more when you make them happy, no matter how you do that. Just like the offline world, your social media marketing success largely depends on your ability to find and make your target audience happy so they like your brand and share your stories with others. Your social media marketing efforts will produce no results if your story isn't worth sharing. So I want to talk now about SEO and why it's important and why it mystifies so many people. You know, there are as many specializations within digital marketing as there are ways of interacting using digital media. Now, one key example is search engine optimization, or SEO. As I said earlier, technically, it is a marketing tool rather than a form of marketing in itself. SEO is defined by the balance as the art and science of making web pages attractive to search engines. The art and science part of SEO is what's most important. SEO is a science because it requires you to research and weigh different contributing factors to achieve the highest possible ranking. Today, the most important elements to consider when optimizing a web page include the quality of the content, the level of user engagement, mobile friendliness, and the number and quality of inbound links. The strategic use of these factors makes SEO a science, but the unpredictability involved makes it an art. So next up are digital marketing assets. So what are they? Almost anything can be a digital marketing asset. It simply needs to be a marketing tool that you use online. That being said, many people don't realize how many digital marketing assets they already have at their disposal. So I'm going to give you just a couple of examples here. Obviously, your website or your blog. Any branded assets like your logo, your icons, your acronyms, video content like video ads and product demos, images, infographics, product shots, company photos, written content, of course, blog posts, ebooks, product descriptions, testimonials, online products or tools, software as a service, calculators, interactive content, reviews from third parties, and of course, again, your social media pages. All of those are at your disposal and are included in your digital marketing assets. Now, how do I use it? Well, good question. Let's get into that just a little here. With online marketing, with digital marketing, just like offline marketing, the most important thing is to start at the end. Determine what it is that you want to accomplish. What do you want your client or potential client to do? So start there. Understand the digital sales funnel. Create a buyer persona. Who are your potential clients? When I say create a buyer persona, that means find out exactly who your client might be. Is your client a business person? Is your client a college student? Is your client a 40-something career-driven professional? Who is your ideal client? Determine where to find the users at all of the funnel stages. Implement specific guidelines to reach your goals. Incorporate automation and personalization. And last but not least, Look for holes in your digital marketing strategy. Refine, refine, refine. In other words, improve, improve, improve. So then we're going to talk about where can you learn it and why do you need to learn it? And those are going to be discussed in part 2 the next time Terry has me on the show. But I'm going to give you a great big hint right now. If you already own the TW3 system, you have at your disposal a wealth of knowledge, particularly if you are an elite member. You have learning that will basically give you a master's degree in digital marketing over the course of time. There's a wealth of videos in the back office, and of course Terry does training every single week. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank Terry again for having me on. And if you'd like to reach me, I can be reached at linda@wilsonlinda.com, on my website at lindawilson3.com. You can call me, you can reach me on LinkedIn at Linda Wilson Gordon. You can text or call me 206-569-8188. And I hope you'll tune into my podcast on Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time on TW3 Radio. I am Insights with Linda. Thank you and good night.
You're listening to TerryWilson3.com.
Inspiring, informative, and entertaining content for the entrepreneur and small business owner.
And now back to our show with Terry Wilson.
All right, so we're back. We're going to get into your questions now that have been sent in via the contact form. For our first question here, Terry, I got an email saying I can get your elite package now for only $89. Are your commissions still the same? How can you drop the price but keep the commission levels the same?
Yeah. So, Linda, I'm telling you that TW3 Easy Pay has flat taken off, and that was a email we got in over the weekend. So here's the deal. Those $89 and $20 a month and $50 a month, depending on which package you want to go with, those are financed prices based on credit. That's where it starts. It won't go any lower than that, but that you can get it as low as that. Now, it might go up based on credit score and terms. You know, that's stretching it out over, a few years, and you can pay it off anytime you want. But the beautiful thing is, you can,
just to piggyback off what you're saying, the Easy Pay is so popular, I actually have a call scheduled for right now. So I'm going to do that. River's going to ask the rest of the questions. I'll be right back.
He's got to take a call real quick, so I'll flip the camera over. But yeah, I mean, it has been bad to the bone because people have been able to get our largest package, get all of the expenses that it would cost them for the year. All of that stuff, get it financed for as low as $89 a month, and that's our top package. So that's been pretty cool. What's been your experience on that, Linda, so far?
So far, from what I have heard from some of the other elite members, it's been a very, very easy process. I have not personally experienced it yet, but from what I've heard from people that I know and trust, people like Gary Green, who is my trainer, and Miss Spelling Bee, Lori Brown, it's going great.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, to get anything that you can have hope will work. I mean, listen, to get these digital tools that Linda was illustrating so beautifully tonight, and to get all of these assets, and to get the training, and get all the licensing, and all the stuff that goes into that, there's an expense to it. But if we can figure out a way to mitigate that expense and manage it to where you can get positive cash flow going before you have to come off the hip, I mean, that's just a win-win for everybody. So, yeah, it's a great thing. But yeah, what happens is it gets financed. The recruiter gets the money in one lump sum from the finance company, and then that's how it's done. So it's no one's waiting on their money. The only time that a recruiter, trainer, reseller of TW3 would have to wait is we do have a plan. It's a guaranteed issue plan. In other words, if someone applies for credit, we guarantee that we're going to get everyone approved that wants to become a member at TW3. And now the terms might be different based on different scenarios. But in the guaranteed product, sometimes there's a delayed commission. There's like a balloon payment on the payoff, and so you're having to defer your part of your commission on some of those terms. But that's the only time, and that's only one particular product that takes place. So, River, you're up to bat because Reagan left you.
That's right. So our second question is, I run a detailing shop for cars. I'm very new to the area I moved in. What are some ways you can help my marketing for my detailing business?
Oh, yeah. Matter of fact, I'm going to be getting my Tesla detailed here, getting it blacked out and all that. But yeah, I mean, we've got so many different ways of doing that. Number one, if you don't have a good online presence, we're going to be able to get you a good online presence with your website and your blog. We're going to help you with your social media marketing because we're going to be able to show you exactly the people in your area looking for the services that you provide in your shop, and then direct them right into a free offer or an opt-in of what's called landing pages. These are a bunch of terms that if you're not used to digital marketing, you're not used to these terms. But it's like what Linda was talking about tonight. All of these components that work together in harmony to basically bring in a client, qualify a client, that whole 9 yards. So yeah, we'll be able, and we'll also be able to show you how to do some cold marketing. And that's where you do bulk texting, bulk emailing to just people in your specific area. Let's say, for instance, if you were in Atlanta, Georgia, and maybe you're in the northeast part of Atlanta, like that Smyrna, Marietta area. Well, you give us the zip codes in that area that you're going to service, and then you tell us who are your avatars, who's typically the ones coming into that shop.
Right.
Well, we can give you demographically filtered, scrubbed data that says, okay, everybody that fits this avatar. In other words, it's typically, guys between the ages of 18 and 25 and, this, that, and the other. Okay, well, then you know who your client is. Well, let's do a bulk text and say, hey, come by and get this, and we're going to give you this, and we're having free hot dogs or something, whatever promotion you want to do. But yeah, we can show you how to use some of these really cool affordable tools, because to do a bulk text like that, I mean, what is it, 35 per 1,000 or something like that? So it's pretty cheap. So yeah.
Our third question here: how can I better market my lawn care business?
The same way the detailer was, you've got people that's in your area. You just got to know who your client is. And once you know who your client is, you can sort of better understand how you're going to engage them and what you're going to engage them with. Sometimes emailing's the best. Sometimes texting is the best. Sometimes social media marketing. And that's part of what our training goes into to help you with. Linda, you got any things you want to add there as far as these retail shops and owners that are wanting to market their businesses?
Well, it's one of the things that comes to mind right away. We talked about restaurants a few minutes ago and how much trouble they're having getting help, but marketing to customers who may not even know that your restaurant is open again, saying, hey, come on in, bring 2 people with you and your meal is free, or, come on in at 4:00 today and we'll give you a free dessert, whatever the promotion is that they want to do. But for local restaurants, marketing to a local area, it's one of the most effective ways for them to increase their customer base.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you, these digital tools that Linda has been talking about tonight, they are the most effective when they're used in a local context. Because if it's a local business, marketing to local people, it doesn't feel like spam. It doesn't feel like, strangers that, could be anybody. If I get a text and say, hey, come out and support the Bowling Springs Bulldogs, their football game tonight, we're doing this as a fundraiser, I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm going to be more prone to, hey, we're going to go buy hot dogs at such and such place or go over here because we want to support our community. Most people feel that way. Not everybody feels that way, but a lot of people do. Sure. And if you target the right demographic.
Like I don't support cow pens.
You know,
It's a little local joke there.
A little local joke.
Never buy locally from Calvin's.
A little inside baseball there. But yeah, it's good stuff. Any other questions we got here?
Yeah. So our fourth question here is, can your system market outside the USA?
Yes, to the extent that you don't need our database. Our data is U.S. data only. Okay. So we can't pull data for people in Canada. We can't in Japan. I know we've got members all over the United States, but the tools that require the database are U.S. only. But you can be outside the U.S. and market inside the U.S. with these tools.
Yep.
So anyway.
So yes and no. For the most part, yes.
But you can sell the TW3 system anywhere in the world.
The TW3 system to anybody, anywhere.
And all the components except the database component.
It's really just that data list and like the bulk texter and dialer.
Yeah. Two out of what?
I'm not
25 different components and pieces.
Software.
Yeah. So.
But you know what? There may even be 3. In that 25, there may be 1 we're missing.
Yeah. Well, don't hold us to it. Linda, you did great tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a big topic, and I actually can't wait to do part 2 because, as I said there at the end, many of the training sessions that are within the TW3 package talk specifically about digital marketing. And it's one of the things that I have loved about the TW3 package is that it's almost like getting a master's degree in digital marketing. For people who are new, it does kind of feel like drinking from a fire hose. We've all been through that. But when you get to the other side, the wealth of knowledge that's there is just amazing.
Absolutely. And, you know, we started this show talking about the state of the labor market. And the one thing I would tell everyone is, wherever you're at in the country, whatever your attitudes are on anything, I think we can all agree to this. We all want freedom. We all want to live our best lives the best way we know how and want to. And one of the best ways you can find freedom is be equipped to be able to do whatever you want. And that's what digital marketing does. I mean, I could go to work anywhere, any place, anytime I wanted to now because no one can hold me. No one can manipulate me and because I don't need that physical location. I could go to work for an insurance company tomorrow if I wanted to and negotiate terms on my because you're not going to give me leads. I don't need your leads. You're not, you know what I'm saying? When you're equipped with the ability to have on-demand clients lined up with you are bulletproof. I mean, and that puts you in a very powerful position because I know some people's like, Terry, I hear you on the entrepreneurialism. I hear you on this, but I'm a creature that likes to be in this type of situation. And that's fine. All I'm saying is equip yourself, be armed with the best negotiating position you can be in when you go into business.
I think if most people did some introspection and they look at like jobs they really didn't enjoy, most of the time it's the things they didn't enjoy about it had to come down to like control.
Yeah.
Like I was being controlled in some way and I didn't like it.
No one wants to feel like that they don't have control of their life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the quickest route to depression is feel like you're out of control. You can't stop. You can't, someone else has got the keys to your situation. And that's just a hopeless place. Hope, the good book says hope deferred causes the heart to grow sick, which in modern terms is when you don't see light at the end of the tunnel, you get depressed. That's what that verse means, So equip yourself in your career, in your personal and professional life with control of your career with these tools. That's what it does. And so, Linda, I can't wait to have you back on. I cannot wait for part 2. I know because you always bring the heat. And one more time, LindaWilson3.com, I believe, is the website. And Linda, when is your show on during the week? I don't have it in front of me.
It's on Thursday night at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, Insights with Linda.
Yeah.
And it's on TW3 Radio. Right. So I would invite everyone to take a listen.
Check it out. Linda, there's a reason why she's legendary around here. She knows her stuff. She always brings the heat and does it with a smile and with a heart full of passion for other people that she's helping. So, Linda, thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you again for having me, Terry, and I can't wait until the next one.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com.
Get a free sample copy of the book You Are Worth More by going to TerryWilson3.com now.
If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com.